What's up, guys? It is RGT85, and as you can tell by the title, as you can tell by this beautiful backdrop here, we're taking a look at Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, terrible name, for the Nintendo Switch. Now, these games were obviously very important to me. If you grew up in the early 2000s, these games were life. They brought together people that you wouldn't expect to be interested in video games, but they just sort of transcended video games, honestly. You know, I've played Grand Theft Auto games and everything from trap houses to doctor's houses. I have lived an interesting life, but I was obviously very interested to see how these games would end up on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this announcement essentially just kind of came out of nowhere, really. It was just sort of a surprise thing. Was it a bit rushed, though? Is that something that we're going to have to notice as we check out the game? I'll let you guys decide. But obviously, the one main addition to this game is the fact that, yes, they have improved upon the graphics. And honestly, I like the style. The character models can be a little bit wonky. Let's get out of the car here and look. You know, like, you know, it looks a little bit weird, a little bit Fortnite-y, or, you know, as people like to say, but I think it works. Some of the character models for the more iconic characters definitely take a little bit of adjusting to get used to, and I think some people won't like it at all, you know, because of the changes that they did with the art style, but I think it's fine. You know, it looks good enough, it looks clean enough. There's obviously some little effects going on here, you know, like signs and stuff like that obviously are now done in high resolution. Now, I am not someone who ever played these games via the PC with mods and things of that nature, so I'm not really good to say, you know, what sort of differences there were. Obviously, people have done insane things with mods for GTA. Now, obviously, we are driving around here in the original Grand Theft Auto 3. I was 15 when this game came out. God, I'm getting old. And driving for the most part feels good, but there are little hiccups I've noticed. Like when you make a turn, like you might notice that it looks like my capture card like dropped frames or something like that, and that's not the case. It's actually just the game itself. Now, that was of course in the original game, but I feel like, you know, it's weird that it's in this version of the game as well. It's definitely not as pronounced or anything like that. Obviously, there was a lot of frame rate issues in the original Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, but I feel like that's something that should have been completely ironed out, and maybe it's to be a throwback to the classic era, but I don't really tend to believe that. But yeah, it's something that you notice. You know, I'll drive around here a little bit more, so maybe you could see how it sort of, you know, hiccups a little bit. Like, you know, it hiccuped up around when I made that turn right there, but it's not terrible. It's not game breaking or anything like that, but it is a bit noticeable. Now, let's get out of the car and cause some havoc. Oh, I just died recently, so I don't have any of my weapons. Obviously, I haven't been playing these games like super long, but, you know, I was just interested to see how the Switch versions came out because I'm very well versed in these games. Now, I primarily played it in handheld mode to sort of get used to everything, and I will say that it looks really good in handheld mode. It runs at 720p in handheld mode, and it runs at 1080p in docked mode on the Switch, so, you know, that's good. The Switch version of the game also has HD rumble and gyro controls if you want to check those out too. For me, I'm just kind of like, you know, I don't really want to mess with the gyro controls all that much because it's kind of completely different than what I'm used to. This cop's trying to get buck with me. Let's kick him. Kick him! Come on. Look, it was self-defense. That's a problem with these games with me. I just make up my own stories. Like, this is Hector, and he just, you know, robbed the bank, but, you know, nobody cares because it's Hector. Now, obviously, the gunplay is a little bit different. It's definitely more like the modern games. You can actually change that, though. There are lots of options, which I think is a good thing, but, you know, oh, we got a package here. I think they did a decent job with it, but there's something that we'll sort of talk about at the end of the video that I feel like they should have done to make it maybe a little bit of a better value, because while it's good, you know, it definitely does feel a bit rushed. It definitely feels a little rough around the edges as far as, you know, just the overall look, the overall performance. Let's take out some of these guys. Oh, we got a 3-star. This isn't gonna end well. We'll just play. We'll play till I meet my untimely end. We gotta secure the bag. Oh God. Maybe I should use gyro controls. All right, let's check out Vice City next. Good old Vice City. I absolutely love this game because It was essentially Scarface the video game before Scarface the video game was indeed a thing. Obviously, one of the main things about Vice City that everyone loves is indeed the soundtrack. And unfortunately, for all of the games, some of the songs are indeed missing. You know, to me, music is very subjective. So it's like maybe some of the songs sort of resonated with you. Maybe you didn't care about these songs. Obviously, some artists are missing, like Michael Jackson, which, you know, that's super disappointing because, you know, he's iconic. But this is Vice City, you know, just an amazing game with an amazing soundtrack. Of course, all the soundtrack stuff is muted for these games because I'm not getting a copyright claim on these. It's bizarre to me that we're still in an era where you can get copyright claims for songs used in a YouTube video that's in a video game, but whatever, that's besides the point. Now, the driving I do feel like is a little bit better in this game. The thing about the Grand Theft Auto games is they improved upon each other back in the day. Yes, they came out pretty frequently, but each one of them improved upon things. Grand Theft Auto 3 was pretty bare bones, whereas Grand Theft Auto, oh God, that wasn't me. Oh God, I just killed all those people with that explosion. Oh, that's a little funky. What is this thing doing? All right, disappear. That's good. I mean, you know, that's kind of what these games are like. But as I was saying, Grand Theft Auto 3, you know, was a very bare bones experience. Vice City definitely expanded upon it. And then, of course, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was almost a completely different game, you know, a different gameplay style, which we'll check out in a minute. I will say that, like I said, the driving does feel a little bit better in this game. Everything feels a bit more polished. There's more varieties, types in the missions that you do. There's more stuff to see, and just the whole neon aesthetic, like, and I think that's where this version of the game really sort of shines, is in like the lighting and stuff like that, because it's so much more pronounced. And yeah, it was there on the PlayStation 2, but it just sort of gives it like a different feel, you know. It sort of gives, look at those gas prices, 26 cents. Was that what gas was back in the 80s? Bring me back to the 80s. Give me a big bag of blow or something. I'm just kidding. God, people take everything I say so seriously. It's insane to me. But yeah, you know, it's Vice City. It still plays like Vice City. This dude's trying to, what are you trying to do, homeboy? Give me that baton. We got a piece too. So that's the problem with these games. I just love to just go crazy. You know, you just, I mean, really, realistically, if you're at the age where you played these games in your youth, like, you're pretty close to a midlife crisis mental breakdown anyway. So these games just allow you to do that, and you know, you get that feeling, you get that energy out of you. So I think that's important. We need to get out of here. This isn't going well. I wish I could listen to some music while doing my awesome escape. Some Rick James. Get some Rick James going. Yeah, hide out. All right. Now let's, there are also, as you can see, there are also achievements built into the game, which is kind of cool if you're a big achievements guy. I'm not really one of those, but let's check out our final game in the trilogy. And finally, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the game that really took the GTA 3 formula and just expanded upon it so much, really in the era of character customization. Like, you can make CJ look however you want, you know, and there's the whole, you know, stamina system. As you are playing the game, your character is constantly getting stronger. You can eat a bunch of food and make them really fat. You can go to the gym and work out and get really buff, and it actually impacts how the game is indeed played. So I love this game because of the open-endedness, because it takes that GTA 3 formula and just really expands upon it. Can I go in here? Let's go in here, please. Please. Anyways, obviously, you're not going to have the hot coffee mod, you little dirty birds. You shouldn't care about that anyways. It's just a video game. Let me in! But yeah, as you get deeper into this game, you end up getting like a gang that you assemble and things of that nature. So it's just really cool. And I think this game definitely, you know, is sort of the best in the trilogy in terms of just what you can do. Now, the driving stuff is still kind of there. You know, it gets a little wonky when you make the turns and things of that nature, I guess, because of the fact that things are loading in the background. Like, let's go really fast, and you can sort of get a feel for what I'm talking about here. You know, it just looks, it's not quite as smooth as I would like it to be, but overall, I do really like this trilogy. You know, for me personally, I was gonna buy it regardless. You know, the $60 price tag isn't a big deal to me. I think that's fine. However, I don't feel like they really did all they could with this game, and you know, obviously that would have taken a bit longer and stuff to finish the game. Like, I definitely feel like this game was a bit rushed. You could still have a lot of fun with it. It can be a bit glitchy at times too, like we saw with that little streetlight thing just freaking out earlier, but I do think that the games themselves still hold up and they're still a lot of fun. I think that they should have made them a la carte though, to where you could buy each game individually instead of having to, you know, force people to buy the trilogy. Yeah, maybe people wouldn't have bought Grand Theft Auto 3, the original one, all that much, but still, it's kind of like, you know, I feel like more options should have been given, because if you would have said, oh, well, you could play, you know, San Andreas for $20 or Vice City for $20, that's an easier pill for a lot of people to swallow, more so than the fact that they have to spend the $60. And of course, you know, there are changes done to the games in terms of, you know, character aesthetics and things of that nature, so that may indeed bother some people, and I totally understand why it would. God, that didn't go well for me. Oh, we got some cash though. Let's go. But overall, you know, I'm still a huge fan of these games. They are iconic games. They are games from sort of a bygone era. You know, some of this stuff you can't really get away with. Obviously, some things have been sort of modernized as far as, you know, what's acceptable and whatnot. But overall, I'm definitely enjoying these games. I'll continue to enjoy these games. If I notice anything super crazy, Cocoa Pops. If I notice anything super crazy as I play more of these games, I will update you guys. I just sort of wanted to give you guys the performance look on the Nintendo Switch, because that seemed to be a really hot topic. That seemed to be a question that, get out of here. Don't touch me. Okay, put it away, idiot. Put it away. That seemed to be an issue that a lot of people were concerned with. You know, how would the performance be for the Switch version of the game? And I feel it's good. You know, I feel like it's pretty much probably how it is across the board. We got LL Cool J here. Sorry, Cool J. Damn, he had a lot of money. All right, let me wrap this video up because I'll be here for hours playing these games. But that is a glimpse into Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy Definitive Edition, specifically for the Nintendo Switch. Let me know in the comment section down below if this is a game you plan on checking out, if you played them back in the day, or if you're not liking what you're seeing. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, like, share, all that stupid crap. And as always, well, I guess it doesn't matter if you like it anymore because they're getting rid of that. I don't know why some of my most viewed videos have more dislikes than likes. I don't care. I don't care. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.